Nielsen's new race shop. The last time we were here, this was a stick wall, and a lot of things have changed wonderfully for the better here. My name is Jim Dimmerman. I'm a former Team Arctic racer, and I raced for Ted Nielsen for 5 years. Won a world championship in 1984 for him. We will look at our Phantom sled in just a minute here. And one of the machines that is going to be in our race shop, of course, is the Phantom itself. This is a hybrid of an Arctic Cat that we built from scratch in 1984. It has a Rotax engine in it, about 100 horsepower. It was a 25-lap race in 1984. We started dead last and won the race 25 laps later. Things have evolved a little bit in snowmobile racing, and they went to what Skidoo calls their twin track. This machine, I never drove one, but this machine has two separate tracks that are gauged and disengaged by the handlebar. They were the epitome of racing, totally changed the sport in handling, much faster corner speeds, same kind of engines in and around 100 horsepower and about 100 miles an hour for speed. But then I'm going to take you back into 1978, which was the beginning of my Snow Pro year, starting with Arctic Cat. This machine has been just recently restored by a man named Tom Ishii. In 1978, on the Snow Pro Tour, the last race of the year was in Sweden. And Arctic Cat had a distributorship there, and they wanted to leave the machines in Sweden so the Swedish racing could start and evolve. Polaris left machines, Yamaha, and Skidoo. So long story short, the racing kind of fell apart in the middle of the middle 80s in Sweden, and this sled, the last guy that drove it actually had rolled it over and broke the hood and damaged part of the suspension. So it got put in the corner of a garage, and it sat there for almost 35 years. Another friend of mine in Sweden said that he thought that it was Bobby Elsner's snowmobile, and after doing some checking with serial numbers and certain parts on the machine, it in fact was Elsner's snowmobile. So I made the process of shipping it back in a crate and actually airshipped it back to Minneapolis 6 years ago. And a good friend of mine, this Tom Ishii, we had this machine for 5 years in restoration. Totally disassembled the chassis and engine and suspension parts, cleaned and powder coated and painted in new decals. The engine has been completely gone through, and now it is the piece. This is going to reside here in the Nielsen race shop along with these other machines, and we actually have another one that isn't here yet, a Formula 3 sled that Mike Campbell drove, and we'll turn this into a race shop, museum, and eventually down below is another chassis of a machine that I had that we're going to restore back to its something like this, only it will be the first year of a Scorpion that we had. And those will sit in here, and I'm really looking forward to coming back and starting that process. We're gathering the parts and pieces now, but so that's what's going on in the new Nielsen race shop. There'll be more to come.